Hi, I'm Bob from Wilson Chemicals. I'd like to talk to you this afternoon a little bit about efficiency in stain removal. Uh, so often I walk into a dry cleaning plant and I'm standing at the front, but all I hear in the back is the steam gun at the spotting table going all day long. So what's happening? You're adding steam to the garment, you're adding water to the garment. If you're going to be dry cleaning that, now you have to vacuum, flush, and dry the garment. So what if we can give you solutions where you can apply a chemical and put it right into the dry cleaning machine, or apply a chemical to break down the stain and apply it into the wet cleaning machine or into the washer? Wouldn't that be a lot better than sitting there and steaming? Steaming is sometimes necessary, but what you'll do sometimes with steam is pull color. And what you'll do sometimes with steam is make a ring, especially on those made in India or made in other countries where you have water-soluble sizing on a garment to make the garment look nice, but as soon as you put water or steam, you get a ring. We do have products, of course, that'll help remove the ring, but let's try and avoid that completely. Efficiency. When you think of a wedding gown being tracked through a parking lot, being tracked onto the dance floor, what kind of stains would get on the wedding gown? Let's think about maybe car grease from the parking lot, maybe a lot of dirt in the parking lot. On the dance floor, maybe somebody dropped a little wine, and so it gets tracked through. So you get all these different stains on a wedding gown. And this is just an example. It's an example that I can give you because we've all seen wedding gowns like that. What is the first thing, what do you think the first thing is that you should do when you have a lot of soil like that? First thing that we recommend is step number 1 in stain removal. There's only really 5 things that we have to remember in stain removal. The first thing is sod. Or let's say sog, S-O-G, sog. If you're an Indian person and go to an Indian restaurant, sog means spinach curry. But in this case, sog is going to mean soil, oil, and grime. Soil, oil, and grime. If you see a lot of dirt on a wedding gown, you're certainly not going to just throw it into a machine without treating it first, because there's soil that's been dragged through the parking lot, there's oil probably from cars, there's grime, and there's a whole host of other stains that could potentially be removed by using a spray spotter. We have one on the dry side, and we have one on the wet side. If you use a spray spotter, not only does it help to remove soil, but it does have oil capacity, at least our products do. They have oil removal capacity, and they remove the grime as well. So on the dry side, we have a spray spotter that you can just simply spray, tamp, and put it in any solvent, pretty much any solvent other than the iPura machine. The iPura machine requires specialty treatment, but whether you're using hydrocarbon, green earth, perk, whatever, intense, you can put the dry side spray spotter into the dry cleaning machine, and what happens, you have lubricated up that stain, you've loosened up that stain so that your dry cleaning solution and your soaps in the dry cleaning machine will pull the rest of it out. So we're not saying that your sod stage on the dry side is the ultimate. What we're saying is it's not a standalone product, but it'll depend on your dry cleaning solvent and your soaps to pull out the residual stain. And if you get 100% of the stain out in the dry cleaning machine, you're a very happy guy. But if you just get 90% of the stain out in the dry cleaning machine, you have allowed the chemicals to do the work, and you've allowed the dry cleaning machine to take out the bulk of the stain, and what's left is just a fraction of the stain that you originally saw when you inspected that wedding gown, or that shirt, or that jacket that had the little makeup stain on the side. So your spray spotter on the dry side should be effective enough to break down light oils, to break down makeup stains, to give it a good lubrication so that when you get into the dry cleaning cycle, it can be released. Again, spray, no steam. We're trying to avoid steam. Spray, tamp, let it sit 5-10 minutes, and dry clean. We're talking dry side. SOG on the wet side, the penetrating agents in wet side chemistry are really superior. So they dig in deep. If you're looking for a good neutral lubricant, as well as something that will take out some inks, as well as something that will break down heavy soils, your wet side SOG is just it's just amazing what it can do for you. And then your wet cleaning soaps or your shirt soap, whatever process you're going to be doing on the wet side will be truly enhanced by using the spray spotter on the wet side. Our second step is the POG stage. POG is paint, oil, and grease. Paint, oil, and grease is your traditional POGs, your traditional grease removers. They go one step beyond what the SOG oil remover capacity can do. For instance, a car grease can be attacked by your SOG stage, but if you want to go into something a little bit heavier, you know that grease is pretty tough. You want to add a little bit of POG to your SOG. And I hope this is funny. I hope you're smiling as we all are here. But it just helps you remember these two simple steps. Now these are go-to steps that you're going to be using over and over again, whether it's dry side or wet side, because we have two dry side POGs. One is specifically for inks, and the other one is specifically for greases. Of course, both of these dry side POGs do the same thing. However, one has acidic chemistry built into the solvents, and the other has alkali surfactants built into the solvents. Surfactants are soaps. So they work on different kinds of stains, but they work very similarly. Your ink remover in Wilson Chemicals is very good on glues, and it's also very good on any kind of adhesives, melted plastic. It'll take the place of amyl acetate, for instance, and amyl is a generic kind of POG. All right. We also have a wet side POG. Our wet side POG is the only POG in its class that's designed to not dry out, meaning you can use it right away, but if you've got a mustard stain or Indian food or spaghetti sauce or soy sauce, if you've got those kinds of tough stains, you can take it out on the spotting board with POGs, but you're going to work hard. Let the chemical do the work. Let the wash machine do the extraction. So take your wet side POG, put it on the stain, tamp it, leave it overnight. It's not going to leave a ring. It's not going to break down your color. Wash, and you'll see those hard stains do come out in the washer. These are your go-to steps, the SOG stage and the POG stage. Our next step, our third step would be your tannins. Our fourth step would be proteins. And our fifth step is residual dyes. Residual dyes are what is left over. It's those proverbial yellow stains that are left over from your process. Hopefully you'll be able to get out most of your stains with this if you have a very efficient SOG product or if you have a very efficient POG product. But there are some times where we have a residual stain that's left over, in which case we need to have a good color-safe bleach like sodium percarbonate or sodium perborate or hydrogen peroxide. Those are good residual stain removers. If you don't have good residual dye removers, you're working too hard and you're telling your customer, I can't get the stain out, and you're putting a sorry tag on. Tannins, anything from the ground, tannin removers are very common. Ours has no acetic acid in it, so it prevents clumping up on an acetate material. Your protein removers are very common. Ours has no ammonia in it, so that we don't leave a yellow ring. Our industrial-sized protein remover for large loads like a blanket or comforter with cat urine or dog urine. Our enzyme protein remover is an additive that you add to the washer so that you prevent having to work on the board. If I've got a urine stain on a blanket and I start spraying it with ammonia, the stain may come out, but the smell will still be there. When you take it out, you're never guaranteed to get all that odor out, because it's not just a deodorizer that you need something to get to the molecules that cause the stain to be able to take out the entire stain. So, efficiency. Work with SOG and POG to the extent that you don't use steam. If you have to use steam, go back and level it out with your dry side SOG. But if you can work without steam as much as possible, you're certainly ahead of the game. And to be able to do that, we provide the maximum performance criteria in those departments, the SOG and the POG. If you have to work on tannins and proteins, now you've got water-based chemistry working for you. So you do have to vacuum flush and dry, but sometimes when you've got the lubrication in your POG stage, all that residual stain will come out as well. That's basically what I have to say. Now go and be efficient, and go and buy Wilson Chemicals.